I hope my voice is audible to everyone. So let me start. So what my point here is, I am making sure it very clear that in each and every place, whatever the topic that you are taking, you have to go in a systematic manner. You have to link it with that. You have to give example. You have to reiterate the point. That is called writing, right? More interestingly, the policy of two wrongs do not make a right can be applied to the present government denial that I said. So my government is over. Now where I am falling on the executive sphere. Can be understood as the custodial death of a father and son in Tamil Nadu. Miss Mariamma in Telangana, Stan Swami, a tribal activist. So these are the examples which were present at that contemporary time when I have written this. Rather than reforming the so-called extensive powers of UAPA, IPC, CRPC, Section 124 of IPC, invoking the same on many citizens is resulting in a state of authoritarianism. Result, the slow decline of democratic values. Thus, two wrongs do not make a right. Already a fellow has committed a mistake and he is in police custody, and the police is doing the second mistake by taking vengeance out of that criminal or out of that accused by using some laws like UAPA, IPC, CRPC, Section 124 of IPC. What are you going to achieve? You are going to achieve the death of that person, and that is the exact reason why Stan Swami was dead. That is the exact reason why Mariamma was dead, and that is the reason why father and son has dead in custodies in various states of southern state of India. Right? So, what is the point that I was driving here? I was driving the point that two wrongs do not make right. My brain is very clear that yes, two wrongs do not make right. 80% this statement is correct. And I am giving examples. How I am taking examples. I started at the global level, I came at the national level, I came at the individual level, I came at the family level, I came at the institutional level. In the institution, I have spoken about legislature. Had the COVID-19 been prepared by the government, it would have been good. Second thing is executive, and the third thing, this is the executive. I have written about economy, I have written about polity also. Society, economy and polity. Even more, the principles of two mistakes do not make a right can be seen at the global level. Again, I am reiterating to the global level. I started at the individual, family, and then I entered into sectors, political sector, economic sector, and then the sectors. At the global level, for instance, America entered into Afghanistan in 2001 in the pretext of global war on terrorism. So what I am saying, even two wrongs do not make right at the global level when institutions are organizing or when countries are organizing. For instance, means I am giving an example. America entered into Afghanistan in 2001 in the pretext of global war on terrorism to fight against Taliban. 20 years down the line, it had entered into peace talks with the same Taliban. This same lies in the fact to correct a mistake, USA equally took another mistake as means. That is ill-intended war. So what George Bush has said, he wanted to establish perpetual peace in the world. And he made the same deal with Taliban after 20 years by wasting your resources, by wasting your energy and making some other fellow to be a demon here, and that is none other than China. As a result, today, the entire West Asian region is in turmoil. That is the major reason for this is Taliban have attacked you and you wanted to attack them. So an attack for an attack is not going to be always resulting in truth. This means adapted is equally important to an ends. So what is the point? Eventually, what my argument is, all this shows to the two adages of Gandhi. What we sow, so shall we reap. That is what Gandhi has said, and I have concluded my statement saying that. So what is all the above saying? Whatever you sow, if you sow hatred, you are going to get the poisonous fruits. If you are sowing love, you are going to get affection as your fruits. Now, that is my first argument in the body. The second argument is I have written 80% favoring the argument in my body. I have to counter it. Two wrongs do not make always right. This is the question. But at times two wrongs makes right. How? Nonetheless. No, look, nevertheless is the connecting paragraph I used. Nevertheless means I am contradicting to it. However is a contradictory word. Nonetheless, of the previous discussions, the concept of two wrongs making a right at a time seems to be true. More importantly, this is the case of foreign policy, securing the national interest or deterring an errant from doing a harmful deed. So where two wrongs will make right? When you are securing foreign policy, when you are securing national interest, when you are securing a deterrent. A fellow who has committed crime, he should be deterred by equal punishment. Otherwise, the society is not going to be in order. For instance, now look how I am supporting this 20% arguments. For instance, India took preemptive strikes on Pakistan terror bases in Balakot. This is Balakot terror strike. I have taken one example. This approach is a very aggressive approach in nature because there are terrorists. These are wrong. Now, in order to suppress this fellow, what government did? Balakot terror strikes. This is appears to be wrong on the ethical grounds. But if you look here, have you not neutralized these terror forces? They would have struck back to you at one day. Hence, and the nationalist perspective, to harm a fellow who is going to harm you is always correct, because by the end of the day, it is the interest of the nation which is going to be very, very important. Aggressive nature has a larger interest in India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. This can be an outliner for an eye and eye. So what do I mean to say? An eye and eye for eye philosophy will work in some situations like this. After that Balakot terror attacks, these terrorist elements became very, very silent by looking at the government's response. Further, this you call it as deterrence theory. This deterrence equally holds true. I am giving second example. Why eye for an eye works. Giving punishments. Though killing terrorists like Asmal Kabal, Afzal Guru, Asmal Kasab are against human rights. They are against human rights. This fellow is a criminal. What the state is doing, they are also doing, killing them, which is against human rights. But in the larger context of deterrence, this sets a precedence not to commit harm again. If you don't kill them, if you treat them with biryani and palau every day, what these fellows will do? Again, they will take an example. They will take inspiration for many, or they will get many people get inspired. As a result, in order to create or deter the human beings from doing heinous crimes, this is going to work. Eye for eye is going to work. Surprisingly, two wrongs don't make right doesn't hold its ground when we flow consequentialism or deontological approach. That is, irrespective of the means. This is the example that I have taken from ethics. Irrespective of the means, one is expected to perform the duty he is entrusted upon. For instance, a soldier fighting an enemy in a battle has to perform his duty even if it amounts to killing of the other. So in the duty-based approach, you cannot call whether you are doing mistake or not. If there is an enemy before your eyes, even though it is wrong, or even though the enemy has committed mistake, you have to commit the mistake to protect the nation. That is your duty, right? That is the thing that it is saying. Eventually, these contradicting points of moral philosophy of two wrongs don't make right has to be applied on the same space, same time constraints. Further, the most important aspect is the intent with which the second mistake is performed. So what I am saying, two wrongs do not make right is correct at 80%, but you cannot apply universally, because you have to look at why the second mistake is committed. Look at the intent of the second mistake. If you are presuming that the intent is for the larger good, then two wrongs makes right is always correct. If your intent is bad, then definitely two wrongs doesn't make right. So that is what my point is. So this is my 20% arguments. Look at my 20%, how I have taken. First, in few paragraphs, I have supported my answer. In the next few paragraphs or 3 paragraphs, I have opposed it at the global level, at the Indian level, right? Now I am bringing back to my argument. What is my argument? Two wrongs do not make right. So I have written the 20% arguments in this. Nonetheless, which means I am taking U-turn. Again, I am going back with my proper arguments that I made earlier. Nonetheless, the testimony for the second mistake has to be seen and visualized based on the intent. So this is the same thing which is related to the above. So what I am saying, nonetheless, the testimony of the second mistake has to be seen and visualized based on the intent, rationality, space and time constraints. If all the above are good, the second mistake often turns out not to be a mistake. Amidst of all these constraints or contrasts, ఇంత ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా, ఇన్ని కాన్స్టెంట్స్ ఉన్నప్పటికీ కూడా, in majority of the cases, I am steering back to my argument. In majority of the cases, it can be said that two wrongs don't make the right. So what I said, if you understand clearly, in my body, first I have given some arguments favoring my yes stand. I have given some 8 or 9 paragraphs. Then I said no with 3 paragraphs. And again I am reiterating, yes, I am getting back my argument here. Why? Essay has to be in a hierarchical manner, it has to be complete. If you write no, what is the point of writing the first thing altogether? So you have to get back to yes points. Then the essay will be, your body will be complete. So in majority of the cases, look, there are some aberrations to it. 20% aberrations are there, but that doesn't mean that 20% is correct. In majority of the cases, two wrongs don't make a right. Further, to avoid the dilemma of the second mistake, if at all performed, has to be performed by keeping Gandhi's famous testimony. There is one Supreme Court above all, the normal courts. So I have given some examples saying that why two wrongs don't make a right. Because in your court of conscience, me manasakshi correct అనిపిస్తే second intent, do it. But many of the times our conscience says don't do the second half. So actions ought to be with the line of consciousness. Eventually, it is the lack of self-consciousness the second mistake makes more ill-intended or vengeful. It is thus important to avoid future world wars, mistakes of Taliban's catching regions of its fort, and to avoid instances of dead bodies floating in Ganges. This means we adapt. What we adapt are to be highly sacrosanct in line with one's intimate soul. So I have already prepared how my conclusion has to be. I have to segregate all the points. I have to bring all the points and reiterate my stand, saying that no, two wrongs do not make right is wrong. So I am bringing back. So what you have to learn from this essay? So like this, the essay has to be written in the body. So body contains these things. Whenever you take a yes stand, substantiate your body with various examples. In my each and every paragraph that I have written, in any essay, each and every paragraph that I have written, it will contain three things. It will start with an interconnecting paragraph. It will describe my point on a particular event. It will follow with an example, and it is going to reiterate my stand. Right? Take any examples like this. Take anything like this. It is going to work in a similar manner. So your body should contain. So what is today's lesson? What your body should contain? Your body should contain 80%, whatever the stand, 70 or 80%. Write about that in 6 or 7 paragraphs. If you are able to write 8 or 9 paragraphs also, that is completely good. At the same time, write against your argument. You have written S here. Write against your argument no. Again, bring back the argument yes. That makes your body. That makes your body. So this is the next important thing that we have to learn in body. So this is what my philosophical topic as far as body is considered. So first argue your statements, counter your statements. Why you have to counter? If you don't counter, people will think that this fellow is only thinking on one side. As philosophical essays will have two sides, it is very subjective, 80:20. You have to always look at the second aspect of the story. That makes completeness in your answer. However, when you take a stand against your formal stand, come back to your formal stand and reiterate the point. Right? Say, for example, how it should be. If you are entering into quarrel with some other fellow, I am quarreling with, say, some person here like Sneha. Right? First, what I say, I defend myself, she defends herself. Slowly, we say, okay, I have done my mistake. But the moment we come to the conclusion, I reiterate, okay, Sneha, this is my stand. Whatever I have done, please consider that above. I have done something good. Yes, there are some aberrations, but that doesn't mean that whatever I have done is wrong, because I have done first thing good, and then we will end it. So what Sneha will say, yes, sir, whatever we have done, look at my arguments. I accept your arguments, but at the same time, look at my arguments. So this will be the quarrel. This is how we settle the things. So essay writing is this. It has to be completeness. Completeness will come with this cycle. First, take the stand and write yes arguments. Next, write the reiterating arguments of it, no to this, and bring back your arguments saying that yes. So that makes the cycle. First, second, three things should be there. And in this, you'll write more paragraphs, 7 or 8 paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs. That will be your answer. Every paragraph has to be used with keywords. So with this is the body of the philosophical essay. So read some essays if you are not able to understand what I am conveying the message. Because in order to understand these type of classes also you require some knowledge about what I am speaking. Right? So what is the thing? What do you have to do? So philosophical essays, four things that I wanted to tell you. Understand the question properly. How? Read as many times as you can. Take a stand, don't write paragraphs, don't kill your time, write in paragraphs, write in keywords. And guys, let us be very practical in life. What do I mean by practical in life? You are sitting here to crack the most prestigious exam in the country. Imagine if your comprehensive skills is very poor, not to understand a simple sentence, we are unfit to become the officers. Let's accept it on the heart of it, on the face of it. Otherwise, we'll be always in a false impression that I will be cracking this exam, I will be cracking this exam, and I will be sitting here for almost 8 years or 9 years, killing your time, killing your resources, wasting your resources, everything. Be very sharp on it. First, accept it. If I am unable to understand a simple paragraph or simple sentence which they are framing, how can you understand after becoming a district collector? There will be many things that you have to understand. That is a basic thing that they expect. So someone will say, I'm not good at comprehension. If you are not good at comprehension, better leave this because you are unfit for this. So don't be in an imaginative world that I will, even with my little understanding, I will get it. You won't get it. Even if you get it, it is highly impossible to sustain it. You are writing the prestigious exam. The competition is to that level. Our thinking levels has to be to that extent. You have to understand the minute details. You have to understand what the other fellow is speaking. You have to make out the difference whether that fellow is speaking sense or nonsense. Then you will be fit for an officer. This is the thing, right? So if you don't understand a simple sentence, and if you are feeling it difficult to understand a simple sentence, again feel no shame to say that better leave this. We are unfit to be here. Why I'm telling you is this is hard reality. This is hard reality. If you want to get it, work for it. Work for it. That is what I can say. Else, it is waste of time. మనకి ఏదైతే వస్తుందో దాంట్లో వెళ్ళి జాయిన్ అవ్వడం బెటర్, right? Even if you study for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years without some basic understanding, I don't think, or I don't myself subscribe to that type of arguments. I don't subscribe and I never prescribe those arguments to my students because it doesn't lead to anywhere. So this is the thing that I wanted to say, you guys. So the point is, please try to understand the question properly. Understand a simple question. How you will understand the question? Reading again and again. Take the keyword. I just asked you to take the keyword. First, have clarity. If you are not having clarity, your confusion will be reflected on the paper. Yesterday I was reading some answers that you people have sent, many people have sent. Their confusion is reflected on the paper itself. I can say what is your state of mind by looking at the question. You are in a hurry. Why? What you are going to achieve by being in a hurry? I don't understand. Why are you running? I have exam, mains exam. Okay, that's completely fine. But what you will achieve by running? Huh? This is something which really shook off my conscience yesterday. You have means you have to write everything, but if you are in confusion, you don't justify to anything. Be peaceful. Nothing is going to happen. The only thing is here in the brain. Let you organize that brain. Do some meditation. Do some exercises like yoga, or do some physical exercises. Do meditation. Think about how your mind is leading you. Right? So don't be in a hurry. First thing is those who are writing mains, whether it is your first mains or second mains or third mains, be relaxed. Yeah, time so ho jata hai, that will be going on, that will be over. But be relaxed. First accept that, okay, I can do anything irrespective of the things. I can manage anything. In order to manage that, first you have to accept your state of mind. Unless and until you don't accept that, your answer script will be always with that confusion. Clearly, I can tell you the way in which you are sending the answers. So yesterday, almost 8 to 9 people have sent me the answers. In your answers itself, you have struck it down. I have not taken that papers. You have struck it down. You are writing in a zigzag manner. That shows that you are not organized at your brain. So what this exam requires is, again I am saying this, always remember, this exam requires organization of your brain, not your content. How much subject you have, whether you are able to answer the question or not. No, how you are going to manage it. Government services managing the limited resources to the optimum level, right? So the resource here is knowledge. Have less things, but organized in the more clear way. That is what I mean to say. So try to get that. First, be cool. Don't rush. Don't rush after a running dog. No. Be calm. Be relaxed. Think where you have to start and start working. That is the message that I wanted to pass to those guys who are writing this year mains. Further, those who are writing mains or those who are not writing mains, even don't postpone the works. I just asked you to give 30 minutes or 40 minutes to write it. Please write it, irrespective of the circumstances. Otherwise, this exercise is not going to help you. So, this is the philosophical essay. Why I said all these things is I was a bit disappointed by looking at the answers that few people are writing, those who are writing mains this year. Right? Disappointment comes not because of huge expectations, but what at least we expect is some clarity in thought. What you wanted, what is the message that you wanted to send me, or what is the message that you wanted to send to the examiner? Don't be with that thought. Don't reflect yourself in a very shabby way. If you are going to a social function, we will go with highest attire to attract the people. We dress properly. We present ourselves to the best. So our answer has to be like that. Why? Answer writing is reflecting yourself on the paper. Right? Imagine yourself going to an marriage function with shabby dresses. How it will be? So this is a marriage function. There are three marriages here. What is the three marriages or two marriages? Two essays is two marriages. 20 questions is 20 marriages. You are attending that function. Reflect that in the answer. That is what I mean to say. So, what is your work today for philosophical essays? Those who have not started yet philosophical essays thinking that I will do it all one day, impossible. You have to do it every day. If you have not yet started, start it. Again today, I am asking continue the same work of writing the keywords and analyzing the question, keywords, connecting words, and thinking about what I said in each and every paragraph, what you should contain. So write keywords today. From tomorrow, you can think about how to write the body. I said today how to write the body with yes, no, and yes again, and connecting it. So this is the thing. Tomorrow it is Monday. So what I'll ask you is, this is the last day that you have to do this exercise. From tomorrow, you can start writing the body of the essay. Right? Then I'll understand how exactly you are performing. But be clear. When you go to the ethics, let me complete case studies today. I already discussed much of the things. So whenever you are writing case study, introduction is precise writing of the case, followed by stakeholders, followed by the questions that they asked, the things. Let me show you with some examples, and then you will be able to connect it. So this is the last day for case studies. From tomorrow, you can start writing the case studies, one case study, one day. Right? Now let me take this. Let's start with this case study, 2022 paper. So I hope you have read it already. Now look at this. I'll discuss 2 or 3 case studies. You are appointed as an officer heading the section in an environmental pollution control board. to ensure the compliance and its follow-up. So what is your position, guys? You are appointed as an officer heading the section of Environmental Pollution Control Board to ensure its compliance. So you are an officer in EPCB, Environmental Pollution Control Board. In that region where you are working, there were large number of small and medium industries which had been granted clearance. You learned that these industries provide employment to many migrant workers. Migrant workers is one fellow. Small and medium industries is one stakeholder. Migrant workers. Most of the industrial units have got environmental clearance certificate in their possession. So they already got industrial license. The environmental clearance seeks to curb industries and projects that are supposedly hampering the environment and living spaces in the region. So they are going against the bad industries, right? But in practice, most of these units remain to be polluting units in several ways, like water, air pollution. As such, local people encounter persistent health problems. So the third stakeholder is local people. So there are many small and medium industries. Some of them are errant industries, and the next stakeholder is here. So you are a stakeholder. Small and medium industries are stakeholders. Migrant workers are stakeholders. Local population is another stakeholder. It was confirmed that majority of the industries were violating environmental laws. So one thing, it was confirmed. How? Majority of the industries, not all, majority. That is the thing that you should understand. Majority of all the industries are violating environmental compliances. So as an officer, you issued notice to the industrial units to apply for fresh environmental clearance certificate from the competent authority. However, your action met with hostile response from a section of industrial units, other vested interest persons, and a section of local politicians. Now comes the game. So you are trying to do your duty, but look, the outsiders. So you are asking the outsiders, this is not your bosses. This is, you are perfect, your team is perfect, but now you are issuing it to the industries whom you are trying to regulate. But whenever your action is met with hostile response from the industrial units, vested interest persons, and other sections of local politicians. So these are the fellows who is causing some problem. Added, the workers also became very hostile to you as they felt that your action would lead to the closure of these industrial units, and the resultant unemployment will lead to insecurity and uncertainty in their livelihood. Many owners of the industries approached you with the plea that you should not initiate harsh actions as it would compel them to close the units. So some industries, they didn't outrightly against you. They said, they approached you. This is one thing. Approached you to close their units and cause huge financial losses, shortages of their products in the market. This would obviously lead to the sufferings of the laborers and the consumers alike. The labor unions also send you representations requesting. So labor union is also asking you your representation, requesting you against the closure of these units. You simultaneously started receiving threats. Now look, threats are also starting coming in. An officer, government officer, receiving threats from unknown corners. You, however, received support from your colleagues, which means your team is supporting you here, who advised you to act freely and to ensure environmental compliance. Local NGOs also came in your support. I said, in any case study, there will be some bad fellows, there will be some good fellows supporting you and which are against you. So this is the case. So what would be my way of writing? So more or less, I hope you understood the question. So precisely what I read, this case study is related to the lack of compliance of some industries in the environmental laws. It is asking me which type of action I would take against this errant officials. In this case, there are some people who are supporting me and some people who are opposing me, along with some genuine interests of the local population and the workers. So this will be my precise writing. I am not writing everything. So what I said, what is my role? What is the problem there? The problem is some errant industries. Along with this, I am saying that some industries are supporting my cause, local NGOs. So there are some certain sections who are supporting my cause, certain sections who are vehemently opposing. Right? So this is the case. Brief study of the case, brief writing or precise writing is this. Now, the second point that I have said is stakeholders. The stakeholders are here is myself and my team heading the environmental department. So stakeholders, I said you have to write it second. stakeholders, right? So first is preface. I explained it. Stakeholder is, the first stakeholder is me and my team, environmental clearance. The industries is the second stakeholder. Here, small industries, medium industries, and labor unions. Third one is workers, including the migrants and local population. Fourth one they said is there are some politicians and some some illegal elements threatening you. Fifth one is consumers. Why consumers? Because they said clearly in the essay itself it is going to cause shortages to the consumers and industrialists alike. So this is my stakeholder approach. So I'll write immediately the stakeholders that you have here. Right? So this is my 5 stakeholders. So what I'll write stakeholders, and I'll say these are the stakeholders involved in the case. Now what I have to write? I have to directly go and address the answer. What is address? What are the options available to you under this situation? So first situation is leave the case as it is because there are threats to me or to my personal life. The second one is go with the harsh action of closing it. The third option is to find out a middle path, and give a chance for industries along by taking uh, the genuine concerns of the workers. So these are the 3 things. So in the first case, so what are the options available to me? The options available to me in this situation are 3. One is not going there because they are threatening me. So to save my skin from that, I'm not doing it. Second thing is taking the harsh decision and closing it because they have broken down the law. The third one is finding out a middle way. That will be my 3 sentences. Now critically examine the options you have listed. So the first option, what is critical examination? You have to look at the pros and the cons. The first option is, what is the first option I said? Not taking any action. First I'll keep not taking any action. What are the pros and what are the cons? I'll write in 2 columns, pros, cons. First pro, if I don't take any action in this, what is the best advantage that you are going to get? My personal interests are going to get sustained. Right? As Charvaka philosophy, life is only once. Hence, you have to live it to the fullest. Whatever the other fellow do, let them do. But I won't take any action. This will fulfill my existence. Right? So, this is the first thing that I am writing. The second thing is, I may resign to this job and I may go to somewhere and I may find some other alternative. But I don't want to challenge this anti-social elements. So, this is your pros. By taking this stand, what you are protecting? You are protecting yourself and you are giving protection to the family who is dependent on you. These 2 things you will write as pros. But look at the cons. First one is you are showing a set of unethical means. One is you are showing your cowardice there if you take this action. You are showing your lack of objectivity. You are showing lack of dedication to public service. All the things that should be done, you are not doing. And it is against the concerns of individuals. As a public officer, your concern should be towards the people, or your concerns will be always working for the favor of the public, but you are going against your public. Hence, this shows an image to you and to the world that you are not fit an officer. So these are the cons. So what I will write after writing pros and cons. So I have given 3 arguments here. I have taken first point, I don't take any action. What are the pros? What are the cons? Hence, I will write after writing this. What are the pros? I will save, my life, family will be saved, but the cons will be more here. So I will write some examples saying that as per deontological approach of Immanuel Kant, I will always perform my action in such a way that it becomes a universal law. Thus, I won't take this option. The second option that it is available is taking harsh action, immediate action on the errant fellows. What are the pros? What are the cons? Pros is already they have violated the norms, hence it is exercising the law at any cost. So whatever I do, it will be as per the law. The second one is it will be setting a good precedence for others. Today, if we don't take action, if I go with a very soft corner, tomorrow more and more people will be doing the same thing. So this is going to be a con. So do we have to write equal number of, no, don't write equal number of pros and cons. Depending upon the case that you are saying. Say for example, in my three options that I will discuss. So here pros are, there will be more pros compared to your first option. There are harsh, I will take harsh action. Why I have to take harsh action? Already that fellow has broken down the law. Now the deterrence theory has to be in such a way that those who ever breaks the law has to receive equal punishment and immediate punishment. Justice delayed is justice denied. Hence I will shut down that industries. What are the pros that you are going to have? First thing is you are implementing the law in Tito. As an officer, my duty is to implement the law in Tito. Second thing is the public health is most important. The local population health is going to be saved immediately. The third one is it will set a good precedence for the errant industries who are working in that area. If I close the industries, definitely they will come with some reforms and they will take the action. So good precedence will be there. Thus, it will be like setting those who are doing wrong. And the thing is, means show your ends, right? There is one thing. So the means here is, if I am acting tough here, they won't repeat the same thing. So my action has to be based on the philosophy of means and ends. What is the philosophy that I am adapting? A very harsh philosophy, because the action that they are doing is a very harsh action. So this is the thing that you can write, or you can write Machiavelli saying that in the interest of the public good, right, we have to take strict actions. But what are the cons? Definitely cons will be less compared to your first argument. The cons here are local jobs. This is the first immediate thing. Local jobs are going to be going to be lost. So it is going against the maxim of utilitarianism to the community. What is utilitarianism? Maximum good to maximum people. Okay. So if I close the industries, local jobs are lost. The most important thing that you are going to lose is consumers are going to face inflation problems. You're killing the market altogether. Right? So tomorrow if someone has to start the industries, it sends a wrong message that if they deviate from the norms, you are going to close, or strict actions is going to be taken. So this is one thing. So you have to write cons and you have to write pros, right? So here equal number of pros and cons will be there, but in the first instance pros will be less compared to your cons, because I have taken the worst option at the first place. So what will be your argument? This will be your argument. So what you will write after this? So this is a point to be considered. This can be considerate. But the third option that you have is giving due time to the errant industries and asking them to correct their mistake in a reasonable time. I'll give time of 4 days or 5 days or 1 week. Correct that. If you are not going to correct, I am going to take action. Pros, cons. What is the pros? First thing is, it is going with the maxim that, or it is in line with, it is common to err by human beings. Forgiveness is a divine concept. So I am giving forgiveness to rectify the mistake. So I am following the reformative approach. So this is one pro. Now because of this, industries will correct the mistakes. Those who want to correct the mistakes, they will curtail. And this is going to add to the so-called the support of workers and support of local people. They are going to support us our cause. And third thing is, after giving due time to these industries, if I am taking the action, people will also agree to my action. So I am going to save the people altogether. I am going to save the